Hello and welcome, I'm Laura, and today we will be doing a short hamstring stretch. So find yourself somewhere comfortable to practice and I'll meet you on the mat. We will begin today's practice in a supine position. So find your way down onto your mat, laying down, releasing the back down, straightening the legs, maybe releasing the hands down to the side. Take a brief moment here to connect with your breath. Find the gentle rhythm of that inhale and exhale. And you'll begin today by taking your right knee into the chest. So begin to slowly peel that right leg up, drawing the knee into the chest and clasping your hands just behind the thigh, underneath the knee joint. Holding the knee in here, maybe squeezing it in a little bit, then releasing back. And beginning to play with straightening that right leg out. So as you begin to straighten and lift the right leg up towards the sky, you can also straighten your arms, allowing for a bit of space here. See how much the leg lifts. You can keep a nice big bend as much as you need today. Play with that straightening, bending of the knee a little bit. And maybe drawing that knee a bit closer to the body. Beginning to feel that stretch up the hamstring and the back of the calf there. Then beginning to bend your right leg and release it back down to the mat. And repeating on the opposite side, so drawing your left knee into the body, clasping the hands behind the back of the knee, on the thigh here, drawing that knee in gently. And repeating here, we'll begin to straighten your left leg. So you can give some space from your chest first by straightening out the arms. And beginning to lift that foot up to the sky. Keeping a bend. Then maybe pulling that knee, that leg a little bit closer to the body. Straighten the leg out, give it a nice bend. Find what works for you today. Then releasing that leg back down as you bend the knee and take the foot back down to the earth. Have a moment here. Inhale and exhale. And then drawing both knees into the chest. You can start by bending the legs first and then bringing one knee in and the next. And giving them a nice hug, squeezing them into your body, maybe rocking on the back a little bit. A nice little bonus back massage here. And then beginning to roll over to one side. Drawing yourself up very slowly to meet in a tabletop together. So finding your own way up and beginning to plant those hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. And we'll move our way into a downward dog today. But first of all, let's start with some knee lifts just to activate those legs a little bit. So tucking your toes underneath, press firmly down into the hands and with the toes as you lift the knees up and take them back down again. We'll do that again. So lifting the knees up and back down again. And this time as we lift them up, we'll press all the way back into your downward dog. So lifting those knees up, drawing the hips back. So take them behind you, pressing firmly with the hands. Take yourself all the way back into your downward dog. You can keep a nice bend in the knees here. And here's an opportunity as well to play with that little hamstring stretch. So maybe pedaling the feet out a little bit. Taking one down, one up, drawing a knee in, back out. See how that feels in your legs. Does one feel tighter than the other? Notice any little imbalances. We all have them in our bodies. And then finding a nice neutral place. Maybe in bend in your knees. The heels can be lifted, pushing back, lifting the hips up and away. Preparing to step forward for a low lunge. Shifting the weight ever so slightly into your right foot as you peel that left foot up and draw the knee up into the chest. Feel the weight shifting forward over the hands and really draw the back up, making space like a cat pose as you plant the foot down in front. And you can always pick the foot up and just place it where it needs to be as well. And drop that right knee down, keeping the toes tucked under for now. Then lift your spine up. Coming up into your low lunge, your Anjaneyasana. And feel the energy today of a pair of scissors as you take the front leading leg, whichever one that is today. So at the moment it's the left. That left hip crease pulls back and the right leg, so the back leg pulls forward. So it's like a scissors coming together, keeping those hips nice and square. And we'll keep that energy going throughout this mini flow we'll do today. So drawing that left back, the right forward. As you begin to shift back for your half split, your runner's lunge. So you take the hips back and then that left foot begins to point up towards the ceiling, straightening that left foot as much as you can. Maybe you come up onto the blocks. Maybe you stay up here. A little bit of a balance practice here. You could rest on the thigh, the shin. Find the place for you today in this stretch. Keep feeling like you're drawing that left hip back. Keeping the spine nice and long. Feel the crown of the head pulling up and away, creating that nice length up in the side body. And from here, tip the weight forward again into that front foot, a nice little bend. Keeping those toes tucked under from behind, we're going to come up into our pyramid pose. So maybe you have your blocks or hands on the floor here. And push yourself up and lift that back foot up. And you might need to step it forward here a little bit, finding the stance that works for you in your pyramid today. Play around with it. When you've found that, lowering that foot down, or maybe it's up a little bit. Finding your pyramid. And again, that energy of the left hip crease back, the right forward. Hands on blocks, maybe on the shin, the thigh. Keeping your spine long, lifting up and out of the waist, the crown of the head reaching forward. That scissor-like energy. Feeling that long stretch up the back of the legs here in your pyramid. And framing that front foot, bending forward into it, releasing from your pose as you prepare to step back into your downward dog. A nice little flow here for the hamstrings, and we'll repeat on the opposite side. So from this side of your down dog, shift the weight into your left foot, peeling that right foot up, tucking it in towards the chest. The weight shifts forward, rounding the spine up to make space for that knee. And planting the right foot down, the left knee drops. You lift yourself up. For your low lunge here, your Anjaneyasana. And again, that scissor energy. Pulling the right hip crease back, the left one forward this time. Finding that length in the spine here, drawing up and out of your waist, keeping this same motion if you can throughout. The crown of the head lifts up. And from here, taking the hips back slightly for your half split, your runner's lunge. You can shift that right foot forward as you straighten it out and pointing the toes up towards the sky. Find the depth for you today. Maybe a little bit further forward still. The knee can be bent, that's fine. Coming up onto blocks. Maybe it's tricky balancing coming up here. Coming up. Keeping that nice length. And preparing to come into your pyramid pose on the opposite side. So shifting the weight forward a little bit into that front right foot to plant it down. Almost coming back into our lunge here. Shifting weight, pushing down with your hands, lifting that back knee up and stepping forward ever so slightly. Give yourself a slightly narrower gauge here between the legs. As you come into your pyramid pose, pulling forward with the crown of the head and taking that right hip crease back. Finding your pyramid today. Maybe the hands come up higher on the blocks. Maybe they're resting down. Feeling that right hip constantly drawing back, that scissor-like motion of the legs snipping together. And releasing down, bending that front right foot, planting the hands down, drawing that foot all the way back for your downward dog again. Maybe pedaling the feet out once more. Pressing up and away. Release the knees back down to the earth. Back down into our tabletop here. And all the way back into kneeling. Coming back to the center of your mat, resting here for a moment in your kneeling position. Taking one hand to heart and one to belly. Reconnecting with your breath here for a moment. An opportunity to reflect on this quick practice and flow together. Giving thanks to yourself today for taking time to practice and look after your own well-being. Inhale in and exhale out.